Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 114 of Confessions of a Market Maker. I'm your co-host, Ray, aka All Day Ray, aka the Superman Lover, and I'm joined here by my notorious co-host, former market maker, 20 years and current day retail trader. Back in the day, his market making execution tactics would leave your head spinning like a gyro. The man who was more entrusted to handle paper than the mailman, the third Butabi brother, JJ. How's
Hey
it
Ray,
going?
what's up, brother? Oh
Uh,
man, it's coming in. It's a good time coming into September.
Absolutely, man. I'm looking forward to the fall, man, for sure. Summer wrapping up. I know you've been gallivanting around Europe this summer. I've been extremely jealous, man. Tell us, how's it been?
Oh man, I tell you, Europe is. Everybody says Europe is overrated, and then you go there and you're like, it's not overrated. It is just, I go into these places, south of France and I was in Turkey in which is not in Europe, but still, just amazing places that you can travel to from the UK, and it's so cheap. Sure they jam you in there like cattle on the airplane, but it's like $40 to go to France for the weekend. It's just amazing.
Can't beat
Um,
that. You can't beat that.
yeah, I mean, that would it cost more to go from Regina to Moose Jaw. And
Yeah,
nothing
yeah,
against Moose Jaw, but it's not the south of France.
yeah.
So it's been great, getting to travel around. I've traveled more in the last 2 years than I have in the last 25. So that's pretty cool.
That's awesome, man. I'm happy for you, man. I guess it's cool there with Europe being like a lot smaller. Well, I guess, US, Canada, we're more like spread out, so it's a
Oh yeah,
longer travel distance. Where there, I guess things are a lot closer. That's real cool.
definitely. And it's I there's some places I do love Florida and Newport Beach and New York's I love New York and Seattle I have a fond place in my heart for, but it's nice to see the rest of the world, as an adult. It's
Absolutely.
cool.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
come out. I'm gonna come out there and visit you soon.
Yeah,
I need
definitely.
to. I need to.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
so yeah, so get into some trading talk here, JJ. This summer we've seen a pretty good run up, I think, for a decent part of the summer. I know August's been a little bit more choppy-ish, maybe more or less. Though we've had a good run up the past couple of days. Anything
Yeah.
stick out to you at all this summer, or is just trading kind of usual, more or less?
This this summer has been the surprise short squeeze. I have Nobody saw that short squeeze coming when ES took up to 4,600. Everybody was short, tons of gaps to the downside, and it propelled us up to, that 46.33 level and back down to 43.49, and now we're right back up to 45.29. So it's just a momentum trader's heaven this summer. And it's been good. And man, the equity markets, I started looking at dollar volume again because, I've got deal fever.
Hmm.
And, I am seeing we are starting paper hanging season coming into September, right? Because September, October, November, that's when all the deal guys are trying to get the money so they can buy the GI Joe with the Kung Fu grip, right? So you could start. I'm seeing volume in these 50-cent stocks, 20-cent stocks, NASDAQ listed stuff, you know, stuff out of Singapore. I see a lot of that. I see a lot of European buying programs happening at 4 or 5 in the morning, New York time. So it's going to be. I think it's going to be a good fall for the small caps. It's going to be a good fall for liquidators.
Hmm.
Because they're like, you know, 20-cent deals that are trading $20 million a day like water. And then just ludicrous stuff. There's one deal today I see it's trading. Gosh, what is this thing trading at? It's trading at $13 a share, and it's traded $332 million worth of paper today. So just imagine being a net seller of 20-30% of that volume. 20% of $300 million. That's some good scratch. That's a good day's wage, right? To get off 20, you can sell at least 20, 30 million shares into that, or I'm not $1 million worth of stock into that. It's only traded 20,000, 20 million shares. Yeah, you sell 2, 3 million shares a day, you're laughing. right?
Hmm.
So the people who are getting out of these deals, they're just, you can see it's already, and you read their news release and it sounds like it's just all smoke and mirrors. It's beautiful, right? I mean, as somebody who used to write news releases for these pubcos, I'm like, oh my god, they just took you in a complete circle and you still don't know what the company does, right? but but it's cranking, right?
Yeah.
I'll take a $300 million day any day. Hell, I'll take 30% of that.
Yeah.
you know
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely been noticing recently we're getting a lot more of this where I think it was quiet for a while. There wasn't these like
Yeah.
obvious pumps off of these questionable headlines.
Oh yeah.
And I do like play well, not the extreme uh volatile ones, but I do like playing like tickers with catalysts
Hmm.
and stuff like that. But as you're talking about, if we got like a large person in control of the shares, the float, it's these can be really tricky and really tough to play and maybe best not playing. I don't know. What
Yeah.
advice would you
No.
give to people out there?
Well, my stance on penny stocks is, why would you buy a penny stock when you can get it for free, right? I've never paid for stock in 27 to 30 years of being in the business. It's always been given to me. So you get it and you sell it. That's what that under $5 arena is about. Trading it is tough. There are people who do it. They do it successfully. Some people, like shorting these things. The margin requirements on shorting something under $1 is insane. But there was one deal I saw. I think it was last week or the other week. It had 13 million shares in the float, and it traded almost 200 million shares of volume.
Mhm.
It just kept flipping the float and flipping the float, and it was just beautifully done. Um, and they were just cranking volume, and it's down underneath a nickel now. But they got off so much stock at 10 cents. It was just 10 cents they were selling and selling and selling. Um, you know, uh, just amazing amounts of dollar volume, on a 5 cent stock.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. That kind of makes me want to go do a deal again, right? you
Yeah.
know,
Oh yeah.
I'm still looking for that $100 million day. I've never had one of those, where I can generate $100 million in dollar volume, and pull 20-30 million dollars out of the market. That's the holy grail for me.
That's
You know,
what a day.
We're-
What a day that would
well,
be.
yeah, we'll do that one of these days before we retire. But
I'm
for
looking
for
forward.
now, we're trading and staying in tune with the market, and that's okay, because trading's not. It's been a tough month in August in futures.
Yeah.
Um, there's no follow through a lot of the times, and you got to really pick your spots and stay too true to your process and your setup and all that discipline, process, all of those words that I hated as a child. Uh, the discipline, structure, process, right?
Yeah.
That's the only thing that saves you as a retail trader, and that's what we teach in our classes in our rooms. And it was like pulling teeth for me to do that, but at first, because I was not disciplined at all. So, you know,
It's a tough endeavor, man.
yeah,
Yeah, and just to speak into what you're saying about August, like August being like a little bit tougher with no follow through, and it's like I like trading to hold
yeah,
like a follow through on some of these moves. I like some like more like breakout trend type trades. And it's tough adjust like recognizing, hey, that's not the type of environment, maybe take profit off the table. And
yep,
it's always a fine line towing that, knowing when to like, okay, maybe I need to start taking profit a little bit quicker, or hey, maybe
yep.
I'm in an environment to let it run, because it seems like it changes quickly sometimes, or
Oh
and then
yeah,
maybe you're too late to adjust. So I
yeah,
don't know. I just always find
exactly.
these things. I always find these things interesting.
It's especially when we trade the same thing every day. You guys have a new flavor every day in the equities room.
Hmm.
Where we trade the ES every single day. So that in a way kind of helps you adjust, because you get to know it. It's like when your
Yeah.
girlfriend's in a bad mood, don't mess with it. You
Yeah.
know,
No, that's a great
so
point. Yeah.
that's the one benefit of trading the same market every day, because
Yeah.
you get to know it intimately, right?
Yeah. Which
Well,
is
I
great.
really I
Yep.
respect, stock traders because they're trading something different every day, different order flow, different agenda, different insiders, different routes of order routing, and some of these deals, stocks coming out of Singapore like it's raining paper. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
So it's hard for the equities folks. You know,
I think there's like pros and cons to both because I've talked to a lot of people in the room about it, like trading one product versus like like you said in equities, we're trading various things. I almost kind of look at it more as like I'm trading a strategy and I'm looking for stocks that fit that strategy. So it's kind of like trading the same thing,
exactly.
even though the ticker's different though. So there's obviously different
That's
nuances to each ticker.
that's that
Um,
process, right? That
yeah,
saves
yeah,
you,
right,
right? Because
right.
you just jam the stock in that process. When it doesn't fit that process, boom, you give it
Yeah.
the heave ho,
But
right?
what I've been it has like this type of like you know conversation, equities versus futures or like trading one thing versus multiple things. I think it's interesting and it's interesting conversation. It's got me to thinking around, what I've been doing more of lately, JJ, is kind of like when AI was hot, and it still is kind of hot, like the AI type stocks. Well, guess what?
Hmm.
Like I'm keeping an eye on those stocks. And then uh HE recently, the Hawaiian stock. I don't know if you've seen it,
Oh yeah,
HE. I've
Hawaiian
been like
Electric.
trading that almost every day. So like I'm kind of getting like I'll get a bucket of things, and I've heard of
Yeah,
other people doing this too, right? Kind of I got a few
yep,
stocks I'm looking at here, and then I'll see what's the flavor of the day. Plus, I'm also
yeah,
looking at these things, so I'm getting a little more familiar with these. Um,
exactly. So
so
that deal into so you have like say six stocks, and out of those six, one of them will be up to something, right?
yeah,
So you
yeah,
have an opportunity. That's a good way to look at it. You know,
yep, yep,
it helps you because the worst trade to take is the let's just try and see if this works trade.
yeah,
That this let's just see if this works. That trade never works out.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's like it only works out for the guy on Twitter sitting on somebody else's Ferrari. You know,
Yeah. That's for
yeah,
sure. That's for sure. So I'm just going to take a quick second here to shout out our good friends of the podcast, Apex Trader and Top Step Funding. Any listener of this podcast that has the skills to pass an evaluation can become a prop trader fully funded by either Apex Trader or Top Step Funding. Our own micro e futures trading community has many members who are now fully funded. There's no need to trade with your own money. Keep 90% of the profits. To learn more, you can visit our website at microefutures.com. And JJ, I know your um, recent course, Dream Team course, first one wrapped up. I had a guest appearance in there
yep,
of a section. So did Steve. Shout out to Steve. And we got another one starting up here at September 11th. There's a few slots left. So
definitely.
any listeners that want to participate, are interested, want to join this, I'm going to put an email in the description. So check out the description for more information if you're interested in joining JJ's course, and then I'll just let JJ just maybe say a few things about the course and how the first one went.
The first one has gone really well. The feedback we're getting is really good. The way I go through these courses is it's structured, over 10 weeks. And folks, if you do take the course, we only ding you the one time on a fee. So the next course that rolls around, you can automatically come sit into it. And it's one of those courses where, a lot of instructors, there's the course and that's it. Me, I'm available to you. So we have at least 3 sort of hours a day where you get instruction, you get recaps, and then we do price action labs or trading sessions where I trade over your shoulder like you were sitting on a trade desk at a brokerage firm. You show your screen, I sit and trade with you and point out, how to go through our process. Everything's process driven. So how to look at a market, we have a process. How to test it, how to trade it, how to manage risk, and then for traders who like to hold longer and have larger accounts, we have a process for managing the trade so you can know when to get out of a trade, when to stay into a trade. So everything we do over and over again, it becomes like muscle memory. So it's like that linebacker that hits that gap. When he sees that running back, he's watched game film, he's practiced that drill over and over again. So this way, it's really good for cutting losses too. So you're never stuck going, should I, maybe I could hold it, right? You have your set parameters, so you're cutting losses automatically without thinking about it, so you can save your capital. And this way, it really helps people get consistent, and it's scalable too. And it works on a scalping time frame. It works on swing time frames too. And we're really, really happy. We've been working really hard, and it's interactive too. So what we do is, the people, they when they're in the course, I'm always on them. Like, do you understand this? Do I need to repeat it? Do I need to explain it in a different way? Use different examples, and then show it happen in, real time, so they can see it over and over and over again and get that repetition. Because the business hasn't changed in 400 years. But the markets are, they've become more efficient with electronic trading and
Mm.
algorithms. Efficiency is up so much, and which is better for us as retail traders because we see things now that they could only dream of seeing 20, 30 years ago on the screens. So we have that access to information. We also teach you how to weed out what's important and what's not important. So, you're not looking at 20 million things. So, because, trading is like a street fight. You can't be sitting there, the angle of trajectory, you're going to get hit you're going to get, hit three times in the schnoz before you even figure out what's going on. So we teach people, we make killers out there. That's what my goal is, to teach these people how to be proper villains and take money out of the market every day, right?
Yep.
That's our goal, right? And when we lose, we don't lose it so badly that the account is there, so we can fight again the next day, the next trade, and that's really important. And that way we don't have to, spend time on Dr. Phil's couch every time we get stopped out. We have a process too where we use stops to give us information, to help us on the next trade and the next trade and the next trade. So it's
I
it's
like
it's
that.
really in depth, and it's been fun. I really enjoy it because it kind of feels like I'm, back at work working with people again. On a trade desk. It's
Yeah.
that kind of environment. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I like what you said that part there about using the stops for information. That's cool, man. That's a cool
Yeah.
idea. I like that a lot. Yeah, it was a play like just the brief bit that I did. It was a pleasure working with people who are, real serious.
Yeah.
To get it, which is nice to see because we get some you get more or less some flimsy people that come through the trading rooms. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And you
some
get
people are just taking a shot at it.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
mean, which is fine, and then you find
Yeah.
out, hey, maybe it's not for you, but
Yeah.
it's this is like you've always said over the years is that it's like learning to be a doctor. You don't just get
Yeah.
this. Oh,
Yeah.
like just teach me how to like. No, it doesn't work that way, buddy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
And the other thing we do too, and I know this, Steve's gonna wince, but you also get me, like, pretty much, all the people in the course have my WhatsApp. So my girlfriend's works a lot on weekends doing surgeries and stuff like that. She's a doc, so that way, I have a lot of time on weekends. People hit me up, I don't understand this. I hop on a call. We do a little one-on-one. We don't charge extra for that. Our job, everything I want to do, I just want to make people profitable so they can make a living in this crazy business. Because it's so frustrating to watch people lose money. It drives me nuts. So that's where this is kind of born out of.
yep, excellent, excellent, and also for the listeners, for people who are interested, I forgot we have a video outlining the course on YouTube. So go to our YouTube page, Confessions of the Market Maker. You'll see it on there. The video is labeled JJ's Certified Training Course, where we go over the course outline. So if you want more details on what the course contains, go visit our YouTube page, Confession of a Market Maker. All right, so jumping back into recent market events, JJ, I thought it'd be good for the listeners to hear you talk about reverse splits. We saw one with AMC. I think they did a 10-to-1 reverse split. So
Yeah.
so the stock was at $2, went to 20, I think. Uh shareholder so yeah, I'm just reading here what the shareholders reduced by 10x. Blah blah blah. I saw a lot of the what is it, the Wall Street Bets people, kids, they're claiming this is like, Ken Griffin Gary Gensler manipulation, AMC CEO manipulation. They're crying wolf or whatever.
Well,
Naked
you know,
short selling. Why don't you just explain to us a little bit what's going on
sure.
here?
What happens is, in the case of AMC, a reverse split is a cleaning mechanism that you can clean your float. The reason you need to clean up your float is because you've issued so much cheap stock over the last year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever, that they've diluted the thing so much that what, it was under 250, right? It went down to under $5.
Yeah.
As soon as you lose that $5 level, the institutions are like, "Tuh," right?
Right.
So they're like, we got to either get somebody to come in and buy a couple of billion shares of this garbage, or we have to rip it back, right? So you rip back all your shareholders who were thinking that this thing was going to be the investment of the century. Now, you had 100 shares, now you got 10. Thanks for coming out, right? And your cost basis is now like ridiculously high, right? So it just hurts people so badly. Like, for example, whenever we take over a shell company, which is a company that doesn't have an operating business in it, but it's a trading entity, we automatically do a reverse split before we vend in the new company and start promoting it, right? That way you don't have to buy back anybody else's stock. You rip them right out of the thing, right? And you take away their supply, right? So a reverse split is a corporate action done by management to do a couple of things. Number one, to maintain that $5 level. Otherwise, institutions aren't going to touch you with a 10-foot pole. The other thing now is you've polluted it. You've probably ran S8 stock and stock-based compensation programs where all your executives are living large, right? Driving, Ferraris on lease and Bentleys. And, as soon as you give a CEO 25, $30 million, they go from driving a Toyota. Next thing you know, hey, what is that in your driveway? Oh, that's the new Bentley Bentayga, right? And then, oh, those are nice shoes. Oh, those were 2 grand. Well, you got to look good for the investors. And, I've got investment banking meetings this week. And, oh, is that why you're wearing an $8,000 suit? And your dress shirt's worth $600. So I've seen it so many times. And then, 6 months later, they're like, JJ, we need to do another raise. Like, well, we just gave you $15 million. What the hell did you do with it? Right? Sitting around like, Pacino and Scarface, right? Just, you know, in front of that big pile of money, just goes here, goes there. Everybody's getting paid, right? Except the shareholder, right?
Uh-huh. Yep.
That's why all these poor shareholders are, and the oldest trick in the book is for management to blame short sellers on depressing the price of stock when it's actually dilution, right?
Hmm.
And that is the oldest trick in the book. Until you see, when people tell you that there's this huge short position in that, you need to call the CEO and ask them to publish something called an SPR, a securities position report. That tells you where all the stock is in the DTC system. Not a single CEO on earth will publish that publicly, right? So that will tell you if there's really a short in the stock or not, or whether somebody's short against a convertible debenture or something like that, right? And that's what gets these unsophisticated, retail investors all the time. And we're actually little sort of like, stay tuned. We're going to be doing a course coming out of the equities and micro futures room on how to actually tear a public company apart so you don't get fleeced um, by these slick talking CEOs.
Hmm.
So trading is one thing, but some people, unfortunately, not everybody can trade, so they don't have time. They can't look at the screen. They like to invest on a swing time frame or a 6 month time frame or a year time frame, but nobody actually tells them, hey, this is what you got to look at when you tear apart a company. And that's another thing. We really want to empower the retail investor. It's time for them to stop being taken advantage of.
Yep. Yeah. Don't believe these headlines. At least think critically about them.
Yeah.
And I think that's something. I don't know. I don't want to say it's like a hard skill. I don't think it is hard, but it's something I feel like
No.
good about when like playing these things. And so I could,
Yeah.
I like playing these companies that do have some of these press releases because you it gives you an idea of whether okay, this is legit. Actually, this is not legit. Can give you like a help you give a leaning long or short, but I'm never just going off of that, right? I'm looking at the chart. I'm going off of the technical
Yeah.
analysis, but it helps
Oh
give you a
yeah.
good
Yeah. It's one thing for a trade and a swing, but if you're going to become an investor,
yeah, exactly.
you got to get in there and dig around and find out where the skeletons are, because public companies, not everything about a public company is public, and the information that they do provide on SEC filings aren't exactly easy to read, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of legal gobbledygook in there that we're going to help people decipher and cut to the chase and go, oh, these guys, these guys are a little shifty,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
Like some of these companies, there was one company last year, it was $30 and they issued 1 billion shares of employee-based compensation stock which had a zero cost basis. And they drove that stock from $30 all the way under a buck. And they had poor people buying this thing thinking that it was going to turn around. And I have a friend who lost $700,000 buying this thing, averaging down, buying this thing. And I'm like,
Jeez.
there is a mountain of stock that they're just pouring into the float, right? It's never going to go higher, right? And it's just, you see that, and then I just like I say, if institutions, if one institution tags another one for 30 million bucks, fine. But when people who actually work hard for their money get taken to the cleaners, that's what gets me,
That's sad. Yeah,
right?
no, for sure. I thought of something, JJ, when you were talking about like the CEOs, everyone's losing money in the stock, but the CEO, all the, all these other
Oh
people are
yeah,
making money. And my I remember I heard this good line when I was out, like some guy was talking about this guy was out with, his shoes. And he was like, man, he's
yeah,
like, don't you know my shoes cost your mortgage?
exactly, exactly. These guys wearing,
Yeah.
$2,500 handmade Italian. What was those shoes? Bruno Magli shoes, or whatever, right?
He's
You
like, don't
know,
you know these shoes cost your mortgage? He's like, be quiet. He's like, shut your mouth.
yeah. And those are the guys you got to watch out for. The guys who are wearing, you
Yeah.
want a CEO who shows up in a Ford F-150 that's got some dents in it, you know, lives in
Yeah.
a 3-bedroom bungalow. He's not wearing this Bruno Cucinelli
Yeah.
loafers and all this stuff, $1,300 for a pair of shoes. This guy's he's taking your stockholder money and he's hanging out at Saks Fifth Avenue or wherever the cool place is now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's just like it's just, and then they just roast through that dough, you know,
Mm-hmm.
$4,000 a month on a car lease, 15 grand a month on rent, and the shareholders are going, and the poor shareholders, they don't even know this is happening,
And they don't know.
right?
Yeah, they don't know. Yep.
They don't even know, right? And then don't even start with the corporate jets and stuff. Oh no, I can't fly commercial. God forbid. You know, uh,
Incredible. Incredible. Has there
wheels up, baby. It's not
wheels
my
up.
money.
Wheel.
OPM.
Yeah. Wheels up.
Other people's money.
Has there been any other financial news recently or this summer that's caught your attention or do you want to speak about?
I've just been, I've really just been watching the markets, um, and just and looking at that surprise sneak attack short squeeze that we had into July.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what the hell's going to happen in September. But there's so much news out there. It haven't really been, I know that, in London, you see things like, I think it's UBS and HSBC, they're abandoning Canary Wharf. So all these big firms are starting to downsize a little,
Mm.
um, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because it's been a little bit dry, but we'll see what they can pull out in the last quarter, right? Bonus time is coming in January. So
Mm.
we should see some activity, right?
Yep.
Because this is a performance-based industry, and the last 3-4 months of the year are when you need to crank it up, make your numbers look good. Because having 3 or 4 houses and a private plane, that roasts through the money. These guys they got to turn. Finance is the greatest alchemy. We turn instead of turning lead to gold, they turn worthless paper into cash,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that is true alchemy, you know.
It's a sight to behold. It
It's
is.
beautiful, it's wonderful. You can see it. We just want our friends, and traders to have that process so they can wade through the BS, you know,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and make some money out of this. And that's the big thing, we because you spend so much time learning how to trade, watching markets, doing research. Dear God, retail trading is the hardest thing. Retail trading is the hardest job in finance because you can't cheat. You have no support system. You don't have a firm behind you, you don't have a credit officer, a compliance officer, you don't have a head trader. You don't have anyone sitting next to you going, "What are you nuts? Why would you do that?" Right? And we try and build you a process so you can do that and have your own support system, and
Mm-hmm.
that's we want you to have that. The process is your support system, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because we're all sitting by ourselves in some room trading, so we'd have to do it alone. This way you can have a process to check yourself a little bit, check the information that you're getting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We got a good community. Um,
Yeah.
and a lot of good traders, honestly, in the room,
Yeah.
and people I've learned from. Yeah, I mean, I think you can learn from anybody of any skill
Oh
level, to
yeah.
be honest. But there's a lot of good traders in there, and
Yeah.
been really enjoying. So people that want to come join, I run a happy hours on Fridays where we all get on mic, talk, just bullshit around
Yeah.
the last 2 hours of the market, which is real fun. But the conversations always turn to a more deeper note,
Exactly.
and which is awesome, man. It's
Which
really
is good.
good conversation along trading, because like you said, it is a lonely endeavor, because it's just you
Yeah.
and yourself, and you're the only one responsible for your failure or success. And it's good to
Yeah.
talk to other people that are in the game together,
Yeah.
for support, for different ideas, what may have
Exactly.
you. So it's
Yeah.
it's real enjoyable for myself.
Yeah. And the really cool thing is you'll see someone come into the room and and I'll be talking and they're like, this guy's like on another planet. 3 weeks later, they're like, oh yeah, there's the inventory. They're short here. They're boom, boom. I'm gonna, and they're starting to like put it together, and they're having those light bulb moments. I love that.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's
That's
awesome
that
to see.
that's what I that really that's what you know really makes me happy.
For sure, for sure. So
You know, like they say, every time a retail trader learns how to be a cheap bastard, an old market maker gets his wings. You know.
That's a good one. That's funny. That's funny. So before we head out here, JJ, anything else that you wanted to touch on, or it's time to wrap it up?
Nah, I think we'll wrap it up and just want to wish everybody a happy Labor Day. Be safe out there. Um, make sure you enjoy this last weekend of summer. Come
Hmm.
see us next month, and we look forward to working with you. And if you have any questions, just DM me on Twitter or DM Ray. We're always around. We're willing to help.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's going to conclude today's episode of Confessions of a Market Maker. If you enjoyed today's episode, please rate and review it for us. And if you'd like to support a professional, supportive community of traders, you can join us at microefutures.com. Happy Labor Day, everybody. I'm Paulie Walnuts. He's the gorilla of House Street. You stop, so.